So welcome everyone, I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a you know airwalk, and this is the Unbound Sage, where I deliver out to you whatever is the most important message for you to hear at this time. I don't know where the message is going to come from. Maybe my psychic ability, my empathic ability, mediumship, random stuff from the universe. I will be giving you, though, whatever I'm told is the most important thing. And so what that's going to require of you is an open mind, an open heart. If you were looking for one specific kind of reading tonight, or you had a question that you really need answered, that isn't this show. That's my Ask Ivy show, which is every other Wednesday. But you could book a reading with me in the meantime. I do work internationally, okay? So you can go onto my website for that. All right, so let's open our hearts, let's open our minds, and let's see what's coming through. Who is first? Okay, first one up is Elvin R. Elvin, what am I getting for you? You seem to be moving, you seem to be flowing, things seem to be pushing your feet forward. So this is symbolic, but I think it's more energetic and actually quite literal. If you were to start measuring within the last 3 days to a week how things have been going, and something happened 4 days ago that opened a floodgate, a block was removed, like a wall came down. So we see fluidity in the symbol of water rushing under your feet and then you taking the steps forward, meaning a couple different things. First of all, you wouldn't take steps forward if you weren't willing. So you have a willingness to move forward. You're using your free will to move forward in life. You're using your integrity and character and perseverance. I'm hearing that this feels like a grandfather coming through. I want to say I'm on mom's side of the family. And then what almost feels like an uncle. I feel more like I'm on dad's side of the family. These gentlemen are coming in with you and saying you have, I want to say it's irreversible now. You have this ability to go forward, and you have an irreplaceable position. Also, if you've been worried about some things, if you've been concerned about some relationships, if you've been feeling a lack of power, you are feeling that you aren't significant. You are concerned that you could just be forgotten about or washed away. That isn't happening. All right. So you can put that out of your mind. You are irreplaceable. And the labor that you've been putting in, whether it be on self-work, a determination to move forward in your life, working through circumstances in the mundane, and pushing forward, that is irreversible. And I think one of the things you're not thinking about in life enough, and what they're referring to here, is laying groundwork, one step forward, even if sometimes it feels like one step forward, 2 steps back. It isn't. It isn't. So you're starting to gain some traction here. I also feel like the symbol of the water coming and rushing your feet and pushing you forward is the universe's way of saying, okay, you've done the work. 50% is your responsibility to do. Now let me come and take the rest of this from you. Let me assist you in detoxing. Let me help you release and cleanse. That's what the water does. And for you, it is creating additional motion. All you have to do is swim. Okay, this is a good time for you. Eric E. Okay, Eric E., what do I have for you? Money, money, money. Are you putting the money down? Are you putting the money where your mouth is? Are you stuck? Are you feeling stuck? There is stagnancy here, here, okay? Like a heavy, you have a grandmother coming through mom's side of the family, so it's like a heavy loaf of bread. The thing with bread is it does symbolize money, okay? It just isn't necessarily the way you want it. It isn't necessarily the resource that you were hoping for, or the turnout in the way that you wanted it. Because what are you going to do with a big, heavy, thick loaf of bread that you can barely cut through? Maybe with your resources right now, you're not feeling as fulfilled, as you want. I do think that you're coming out of a period of stagnancy, though, as you decide, and there's talk of the last 3. Could it be 3 weeks? It could, actually, but I was also feeling 3 days. So take it out, resonates. It's like you are making some decisions on what to stop doing, what to stop feeding. I see you with a bullseye. You do have a gentleman coming through, I want to say grandfather type energy, dad type energy, coming through, quick, tall, wider in through here, talking about like a bullseye, or like if you were playing darts, you know, or like, what is it? A bow and arrow? You know what I mean? The bullseye. So it's almost like this is a time for you to have precision. This is a time for you to make up your mind about where you want to push things. And this may require some level of change out of you. It may require that, again, you know, you're not entertaining certain things. You're letting certain things from the past go that aren't helping you to thrive. They aren't helping you to grow. Even if it's mental and emotional, it's weighing you down. This defeatism, well, this didn't work out. Well, this was a loss. You know, well, this thing happened. It's like, let it go. You're lighter. You know, he's saying like light as a feather. And you have this amazing ability to hit that bullseye. There is a lot of support. That's another way of saying it. There's a lot of support by the universe right now for you to move forward and to nail it and win the game if you are willing to let go of what has been holding you back. And I feel like you've also, with your resources, been in a lot of circumstances where things are, I heard unconventional, but I was going to say unreliable, unrealistic, good one day, falling apart the next, a lot of ships going down, a lot of chaos, you know. So you're trying to get out of all of that and into more of a position of power where you don't have to abide by those rules or that nonsense anymore. Charmaine H. Charmaine, what do I have for you? You seem to be detoxing a little bit, and I can't prescribe or diagnose. I'm not saying you're doing this literally, although I do see you juicing, you know, so like blueberries or something. So I'm seeing mostly the organs. Now, again, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but, you know, I could be talking about like the gallbladder, you know, the ability you have with your organs, let's say, to drink the right things, to eat the right foods, to ensure that your body is able to properly cleanse and do its job, right? The organs have a different job than the muscles or the brain, for example. And so you need to cater to them a little bit more. You may be also looking at things like energy level, exhaustion, maybe you said, maybe even dizziness or blurred vision, numbness in the face, the mouth, tingling in the hands, or feeling as though your metabolism is sluggish. And then some days it seems fine, and then it goes back to sluggish. If you're dealing with any of this, it could also be that. Okay, so if we look again at how to detox, get the organs up and running more efficiently, your filtration system, we're creating fluidity through the whole body. And this may also be a time where you're looking more seriously at doing something like significant cardio or getting a gym membership, you know, or committing yourself to doing certain kinds of workouts every single day, or at least 5 days a week. Okay, this is definitely the time for all of that. I also want to say that you have an annoying situation coming in. It comes in almost like a fly. And when I see flies, it can mean two things, right? Like, so somebody coming in to irritate you, to annoy you, to throw you off track in life. It can also symbolize negative, lower, or paranormal problems coming in to kind of throw you. So this is no time to give your attention and energy over to that. It will be happening within the next 24 hours if it didn't already happen. And just remember, I like to say new level, new devil. So when you start to see annoyances and blocks and obstacles, it's because things are about to get real good. Anne Marie D. Anne Marie D. What do I have for you? You know, I have you on this bicycle, and then it turns into this like tandem bicycle. You got somebody on the back, and then they're gone, and then, you know, you're kind of, I want to say you're going through a period of time. You may have been examining this more in the recent weeks even. And I do have your guardian angel coming through, the one who watches over your mental and emotional well-being. So you have been going through a period of connecting with the higher entities of the universe. We could say the healing entities of the universe, and also your empathic ability, which is directly connected to angel energy. So you've been debating or examining more on what happens when you're going through life, AKA you on the bicycle, or how the hell does a bicycle go? I haven't been on a bicycle. No can do anymore. Yeah, like this, right? Not a car, a bike. So you're like on the bicycle and you're going and going. There's a massive difference, and this is what you're recognizing, between this and like smooth sailing, easy, you know, getting some nice wind going here and some exercise, but I don't feel like I'm dying or sweating, versus having someone on the back seat. When this turns into this, you know, two-seater, let's say, it does feel mostly like male energy behind you, which means you could be examining potential relationships. You could be examining all relationships with masculine energy in your life. So that could also be friends, brothers, what have you. Do they weigh you down, or is it a fun experience? So this is a time for you to gauge who you want to allow on the back of your bike, or if you don't want to allow anyone on the back of your bike. I feel like you are setting new boundaries to make sure that instead of saying, well, I want to give, well, I want to connect, well, I have it to give to others, you want to say, I think I'm going to conserve that for me because I have these goals. This feels like self-love. This is what I want to do for my self-care. You're not obligated to let anyone else on the back of that bike, okay? It's like, just pointing that out. Sometimes it is fun. You can also say, get off now. All right, Shauna D. The point is, though, if you're going to be working more with angel energy and channeling and healing others and stuff like this, you're going to have to lighten your load and make sure you're centered, okay? It's a massive rule for us light workers that we stay centered. Okay. Shauna D. Let's move on to Shauna D. Shauna D, what do I have for you? You seem to be a little upset, and I think that you don't want anyone else to see. You don't want anyone else to know, not only because it's your own personal private business, but you don't think they can do anything for you. They may actually make it worse. So if you've had a tendency, whether you've realized it or not, if you've had a tendency to express yourself, talk about your concerns, or make yourself openly vulnerable in family dynamics, social situations, and then you find that the people near you become more dramatic, or they have their own problems, or they start actually causing more trouble for you somehow, voluntarily or involuntarily, you know, it feels like one of those situations. You know, when you're running a lot in your life, or you're running a business, you're running a family, you're running a household, whatever, when you're running a lot of things in life, right? It's almost best not to let anyone know when you're in a vulnerable state, because they just have a tendency to just make it worse. It just seems like you have a pattern of recognizing that and getting to a place now where you're disappointed with a lot of things and people, situations in your environment, even in the world as a whole. And there's this question, you know, who do I go to then? Where do I share this? I really think, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, like this sounds often, I understand, depressing to hear, but I don't really see it that way. I see it as a point of maturity. So you reach a point of maturation where you are able to handle more in the world. And as you enter into that point of leadership, which has really hit for you in the last 3 months, you're recognizing that there's sort of no point in sharing a lot of what you're thinking or feeling, because you're not putting people around you down necessarily, but you realize they can't help to build you up. They can't even probably handle their own stuff. And you no longer really require that level of connection with the humans. You may be tapping into higher sources for all of that. Edgar V, what do I have for you? Edgar, I feel like you are getting ready to make a bit of a transition in your life. It feels like things moving a little bit quickly faster, certainly, than they were. Okay. And it's pretty fluid. It's almost this symbol of you like skating on the water on like a, water board or surfboard. And so that can mean that you've been able to skate over your emotions, or it's been smooth sailing in regards to the way you've been feeling lately. Maybe something, has happened that's making you feel a little bit more steady in understanding and connecting really with your emotional and mental state. I mean, we do have some harmony going on here. You are also hoping for something more, waiting for something better. That's always in the background, always in the background. And there's this image here of you coming off, probably in the next 2 to 3 days, you coming off of this like wave, let's say, that you were riding on the surfboard and sitting on the sand and kind of waiting to see what the tide's going to bring in. I think of that movie Castaway with one of my top 3 favorites. If you haven't seen it, just watch. Tom Hanks, he was waiting on what the tide would bring, And in the beginning, when he first sat down, he didn't expect the tide to bring in anything. That came from years of experience where every now and again, when he was in dire straits, something would come in on the tide. And so it's this symbol of you not necessarily being in dire straits, but you being in the early phases of knowing how to want something, but also enjoy being on the beach, also enjoy where you're at. And if you have found that you aren't good at that you're like nervous or tense or pulling or needing or whatever it is, you know what I mean? When you want or you need something, or there's change, this is what you're going to need to work on right now. Okay. So you're sort of sitting on that beach and you're watching the water and you're watching the waves. You're appreciating it for what it is, knowing that something will come in on that tide eventually, and you're not needing it any sooner than when it will arrive. Okay. And that is actually what levels you up. Mackenzie M, what am I getting for you? So Mackenzie, the first thing I'm getting for you is a little bit of a closed throat chakra issue. I can't prescribe or diagnose, but it could, when we have a buildup of energy in the throat chakra, look like thyroid issues, allergic reactions, swollen glands, anything. Okay, anything from the lungs to the top of the head, even including migraines. Anything from the lungs to the top of the head can really be affected by it. So the fact that it's coming up on the right side for you is a couple different things. First of all, this is your power outside. Okay, so you needing to speak your truth is going to come to a bit of a head. You may have even been feeling this the last 24 to 48 hours, but it's going to be probably ballpark about a week, okay, before we come to that full peak. So the opportunity, okay, will be there for you to speak your truth. I don't have any debate about this. I'm not confused as to whether or not you'll do this. I don't know what it would take to stop you from doing this, honestly. And you seem incredibly confident, so much so that you don't even look at it as a potential confidence issue, which is rare to see with throat chakra issues. So it says a couple things here as well. Not only have you figured some stuff out, you've got strategy, you've got game. You know how to power play, you know how to make moves, power moves, but you also, I think, are ready to put accountability on others. And that's huge. So many people with the throat chakra issue are feeling like, oh, it's all about me. It's all about me. And what's not going right for me. It's like, sometimes you've been silenced for so long, you don't realize that you need to turn the tables on who or what around you, okay, is not doing what they need to do, how it's negatively affecting you. I do think that this can be the end of an era for you. I think this can be you leaving behind a lot of stuff from childhood that took away some of your wild, free, passionate, wholehearted energy, and you're really reclaiming it. So it's going to be an interesting month. And this isn't going to just be happening in one area because it's karmic. Okay, so expect it all over the place. We are going to move on to, you guys see Esmeralda Marie in the background there? Giving herself a bath. She's super duper high right now on a catnip spray. Bethany R. Okay, Bethany, what do I have for you? feel like you need to talk about what you know. I think you need to talk more about your wisdom. I think you have, in some ways, though, said enough to somebody who doesn't seem to want to hear you. So while I see you talking more to the right people, sharing your voice in the right way with the world, advancing because of that, you're not just going to level up because of that. You're also going to level up because of what you didn't say. You're going to level up because of who you cut off. You're going to level up because of what you have decided not to feed anymore, right? So it's the recognition that there is a high and a low vibration in regards to your energy. And it is up to you to choose continuously high. How do you do that? Well, by putting your energy in the right places, right? It's just, it's a science. It's not hard to understand. But once you've gotten yourself tied up in a bunch of systems, like this person you're not feeding anymore, once you've gotten yourself tied up in a bunch of systems where you're giving where you shouldn't be, it can get complicated to get out of it and only give in the right way. So if you were having issues with manifestation, law of attraction, you felt like, things were mouse on a wheel energy, you were stuck in the muck, like nothing was really moving in your life. Every time you've made a decision to go high and to stop feeding lower things, you're seeing these breakthroughs and this movement. I think, though, at this point, too, I just want to go back to it. You are being asked to speak and communicate more. And that can look a lot like, I don't want to say this, maybe leadership, teaching, training, management, mentoring. You could also be doing this on social media, where I don't care if it's just posting a meme. If it is making a statement that can help people to get free, to get better, to heal, okay? And I'm hearing establish. You are in a period of time right now where you're sort of establishing yourself as, you could say, maybe a brand. The brand is going to mean that you're being seen and heard in a different way than what you have in the past, based on your character development and your integrity. Okay, that's not something that can be learned in a book or through, training or from work experience. It's different than that. So there's this real community-oriented energy going on with this level up for you. Love it. Carrie, what do we have for Carrie? Carrie is on YouTube. Kerry, Carrie. Kerry, Carrie on YouTube. What do I have for you? You seem overwhelmed. You seem frustrated, and you seem a little like potentially burnout, but you're so nervous. You're kind of like a chihuahua, like an owl with the big eyes. It's like, I'm sort of perched, I'm kind of perched and I'm waiting for my time to be up, or I have to make a move, or there's just too much. Feels like there's just like too much maybe on your plate. But the thing is, when you really stop and catch yourself and you logically break it down, you're like, well, no, wait a minute. What is here? Like, what is on my plate? You're like, that's not anything I can't handle. That's not even a lot necessary. I've had more than this. So it's almost like you're asking, like, what is bothering me? And I think that a couple different things are happening with you right now. One, and not to sound dismissive of astrology, but like, I guess it's the opposite of that. A lot of it for you is the astrology. If you're not familiar, I'm sorry, I can't help there a ton, but if you're not super familiar with your astrology, you may want to look at the planets and the eclipses and the full moon and everything that just happened. And you may want to take a look, at your chart and understand that you are like massively affected by this. So it's almost like it's twisted your mind in recent weeks to not see clearly. You may not be sleeping. Even when you do finally fall asleep, you may be waking up a lot. You may be stress streaming. You may be feeling like I'm kind of suffocating, or I'm waking up in a state of anxiety, like not like, feeling like I have to start the day, or I have to get on top of things. I have to get in front of this. I have to get in front of this. It's like, get in front of what? Get in front of what? So some of it is the astrology. You should really know, okay, that you are prone to this happening. I would definitely watch out for you in the eclipses and the full moon cycles. But I do think also that, you're being asked. The bigger lesson here is that the universe is sort of asking you, your higher mind is asking you to take more upper hand of things like your time, your schedule, your resources, and to say, they don't run me, I run them. Those are things that are here to support me in my mission, my journey here on earth, not the other way around. So there's some maybe societal deprogramming that you really need to do there. Okay. So you're not being ran by these energies. Okay. We have Deanna Marie. Okay, so Deanna Marie on YouTube. Deanna, what am I getting for you? It seems like a work promotion. This is coming up to the right side, which is destiny charted for you, but it is slightly to the front, which is going to be also up to your free will. So I can't say with 100% certainty it's just going to fall in your lap and like everything's going to roll. It may be a situation that you hear about, someone's talking to you even about this, maybe directly. I think that's entirely possible, but you're sort of being shown some like maybe it feels to you like hoops that you need to jump through, or steps you need to take to kind of lock it down. I do think that one of the other things going on with you right now is an advance in certifications, training, education. There is some need, to go a bit farther, and I want to say further, and possibly use some education, training, old experience that was put up on the shelf. So some of it is old and you're renewing, you're bringing it back for this advancement, and some of it is new. There's a lot happening here. I mean, there's no way you don't feel this. There's no way. Ballpark, I want to say I'm looking at the upcoming 2 weeks. Okay for this? Okay. As soon as I say a name out loud, Angelica, you're going to put up the next name. So, right now, I'm going to say Maraid D. Gone. No more Maraid D. Okay. So, Maraid D, what do I have coming up for you? Clenching of the jaw. I can't prescribe diagnose, but if you're dealing with anything like TMJ, you're going to want to take that a little more seriously. If you have a mouth guard or something you haven't been wearing, you're going to want to put that sucker in there. Mostly though, this is about stress. So when we're grinding our teeth, clenching, what have you, it is typically going to happen like at work in a stressful moment, but like in your sleep state. Okay. So you're not really aware that you're doing this. I think that, getting to the root of the issue, what is stressing you out, is going to be key here. I also want to say, just be mindful. You do have a grandmother coming through who's talking about, she's a little short, little, she said, you're short and stout. I don't think that's the way she wants to go with that. But she may have been a little plump. She is talking about your shoulders, like your upper back and into your neck. What do we call that? C1, C2. We don't want those squeezed, okay, because we're not breathing enough, we're not relaxed enough, cause a lot of problems, bigger than just muscle tension, okay? So you need to be a little more mindful of your body in general. I would say that area, obviously, because she's mentioning it, the teeth and the clenching, but it's a way for you to notice. It's an indicator that you need to change something on the mental level, the emotional level, right? Even for you, the resource level, you seem to be getting a little pushed around by what looks like, potential prosperity, maybe bosses or new bosses, or your belief that there are bosses breathing down your neck more than they actually are. And this desire that you have for more resources may be a little bit misplaced if you're tolerating all of that to get to where you really want to be. Wanting to be in a higher financial bracket or more comfortable or whatever is 100% acceptable, but going about it the wrong way where you're getting beat up and you can't overcome those issues, so much so that it's manifesting in your physical body, right? As emotional upset and mental discord is unacceptable. So let's look there and tweak some things, okay? Confront it head on. You may be able to. Dave D, what am I getting for you? There's talk of you being pulled backward. It's like an old issue from the past, or, an old relationship This could also be loss that you've taken or mistakes that you've made. It's like, I keep getting pulled into the background. And you may do a lot of things, whether it's going on vacations or it's, playing a sport or it's, getting involved or watching sports. I mean, whatever. You may get involved in a lot of things to kind of push that down, to not feel that pull. But you're entering into a period of time right now where you have some new opportunities for your life path. You have some new opportunities for your resources. And I would even say there are potential another 3 different opportunities for relationship dynamics to improve, intimacy levels, soul tribe members, a lot of stuff. And so we have to examine what this is that keeps pulling you backward, because it's almost like you can't get there. You can see these opportunities. I mean, they could literally be right there on your doorstep. It could be like almost tangible here, but you can't reach it because it keeps pulling you backward. So this is a period of time for you to understand that that's there. It's going to be there for a minute. There's no rush. I mean, don't rest on your laurels, but the deadline is not here. And take the time to understand what it is that you do in regards to heaviness. I can't prescribe a diagnosis, but depression, heavy emotional interference due to loss or grief or any type of unprocessed despair. Okay. And to say, I need to alchemize that once and for all. I have to do the shadow work. If you throw some money at a therapist, that may help too, but it needs to be processed because it is coming up to be processed so that you can have this. All right. And somehow a lot of this is connected to, again, I want to say things that you do to get into avoidance and distraction. Okay. So start there. Start there by saying no to that. Okay. Manny C. Manny C. What do I have for you? I have a lady coming through and I smell, I believe these are roses. I smell flowers, but I smell perfume as well, which is a little harder to tell. So it almost reminds me of like flower bouquet type of perfume. Yeah, but it's a little like musky. So it's called Claire Augustine, when you smell phantom odors or you taste phantom flavors that no one else will. There's also talk of cigarettes here. So you may be smelling cigarettes, smelling cigars. This isn't a mediumistic ability, that you have, and certain spirits that are coming through on the other side are going to use that to grab your attention and then get messages across to you. But I want to go over here with this maternal energy who's coming through. She's talking about, you reaching a point where you're trying to, and she keeps mentioning the left hip or the lower back. I can't prescribe a diagnosis. Maybe even like the upper thigh, and the upper back, and kind of moving in a different way or making adjustments, moderation, okay, is key here. Like, don't push yourself so hard you're irritating this area of your body. But you may also overcompensate to not put pressure or pain on it. And then we can have something going on with the upper back over here or the lower leg on this. You know how it is when you aren't being well balanced. I feel like you need to prioritize a little bit more, whether it be stretching, this be like physical therapy, this be more different types of exercise. I feel like it's a time to strengthen your body in these, especially when it's affecting these core parts here that we mentioned. So there's that. I don't feel like she really did this for herself, and she wishes she had maybe taught, you kids better about being mindful about these things. To her, it was like work, work, work. Stuff like that wasn't important. But I feel like you are going into a period, it's already started within the last month. She's saying 111, it already started. It's like period of time where you're sort of evaluating everything that you're doing. You're saying like, what more can I do, for myself? Not just for like my physical body and health and wellness, but also like my interests how can I feed my imagination? How can I feed my artistic ability? And there's a lot of talk of your roots here as well. So if you have native blood, you may be hearing more from your ancestors as well. It's almost like you're moving into this sort of shamanic, like elder type of energy as we go forward. These things are all connected. They're all connected. She's just trying to help you kind of get ready for it and to be there, you know, where you're supposed to be. She's also giving a red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. It can also be a passing anniversary or deep love. Take it how it resonates. Ayana on YouTube. Ayana, what am I getting for you? Don't fight with somebody. Something is coming up here that is going to try to get you down in the dirt to, you know, be with the dogs, like trying to lower and reduce your ability to look past what's insignificant. You know, you got to pick your battles sometimes. And we often decide that we're going to pick the battles that trigger us the most. And it's like, okay, that's not it. All right. So I think what's going on here is that you are going to be walking into some situations, okay, which means this is unavoidable because you're walking into these situations, you're moving toward this, all right? But it is happening in your free will zone, which means you decide how you respond to all of this. So you're not like a victim to the circumstance, even though it's destiny charted that it's going to happen, all right? We have two types of future, free will and destiny charted future. So when you enter into these situations, you may feel like you're getting a bit bombarded, and you may already be feeling this. It's like one thing after another, after another, after another. You're like, is the world playing a trick on me? This is ridiculous. What is this? It's like a joke. You know, how can this many things go wrong? And whether you're dealing with a bank or someone in a position of authority in regards to your resources, you know, someone who is maybe you're needing, you know, to get something from, that could be the first major trigger that happens where you start reacting instead of like responding. Okay, you start barking and getting ready to bite instead of being strategic and pulling your energy back and being like, you know what, I'm gonna go, I'm walking out of the bank, not even gonna say a word, I'm gonna take this paperwork, I'm gonna go figure this out. You know, that's symbolic. But the idea of dealing with a strategic situation, and instead of doing so, lashing out from a place of emotional trigger is not going to get you the wins that you're hoping to have. So you are going to enter into a period of a little bit of testing, and you are more than capable. And doesn't it sound nice, be honest, to just be confronted with this combat situation and to say, I don't think so. I think I'm going to go have an iced tea. I think I'm going to go sit by the river for the day. I think I'm going to take this paperwork and stick it in my purse and deal with it with a fresh, clean, you know, rejuvenated mindset tomorrow. And I'm going to strategize my way out of this, and they better watch it. Like, cause I'm taking all the winnings, you know, like, let it go, let it go. Joshua W, what do I have for you? I have a gentleman coming up behind you who is very, you know, straight. And so I don't know if, you know, you're dealing with things, whether it's like questioning kind of where you lean, or if you are just well balanced, you're tapped into your feminine side a bit more, whatever that means to you. Okay. The gentleman coming in here is kind of not that, you know, and he keeps an eye on you and is proud of you for being better balanced, because he may have suppressed, he may have been oppressed, he may have oppressed others. You know, he has this very sort of militant energy about him, grandpa type, who is needing to watch over you because he has karmic debt in this specific area, to make sure that any damage he may have done by being a little underdeveloped, right, is a task that you now take on for the next generation. We could say breaking generational curses, which aren't real, but psychological programming is. Habits, you know, habitual toxicity handed down from generation to generation is. He is making sure that you not only break it, but that you maintain it. And so you could be going through a period of discovery right now with like, you know, your feelings and who am I and what am I really interested in and what does it mean to explore, you know, be a more authentic whole person, you know, not just like rigidly this one masculine way, for example. And he's not only celebrating that for you, he's getting a lot of healing. Not that this is the point, but he's getting a lot of healing by watching you grow leaps and bounds. And if you've been frustrated with the situation or you're feeling a loss, you feel like a bit of almost like the threat of a devastating loss, you know, right around this time, he's also here with what feels like 2 other women and a couple other gentlemen, reminding you that they're uplifting you and that you're just going through a bit of a growth spurt right now. Okay. A bit of a transitional process, but I do see a rainbow, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, rainbow after the storm. And we're going to move on to Ludmilla K. Ludmilla K, what do I have for you? You know, you have spirit, and I want to say basically your guides as a whole. We could also have some angel activity in this, but everyone has 5 guides, okay, appointed to them. Your guides are coming in and giving you a bouquet of what looks like orange carnations. Orange carnations in this way are going to symbolize that the universe has been requesting of you lately. I would say ballpark the last, you know, month, but the last week you would have really noticed it pretty intensely. The universe is asking you to work on your root chakra, to work on your creativity, to work on your, you could say, sexual energy and expression. God bless you, Ezzy. Goodness me. To work on your feeling of being in a position of power, empowerment in your life, to feel as though you've created and you maintain a strong foundation in your life, in regards to like your resources, seeing yourself as the resource instead of looking every time you need more money or you need to have a breakthrough or you need new employment or you need whatever. Instead of looking out to the world, employers, government, banks, institutions, spousal income, like instead of looking out there, you're really, and what the universe is requiring of you is that you look inward and you say, I am my own resource. What in me is untapped? You know, what can I pull out that I haven't used in a while? What am I really supposed to create at this time? The orange carnations are also symbolic of without a ton of pressure. You know, they're just carnations, they're not roses or, you know, but just without a ton of pressure, how can you become more fulfilled at this time? And it really is coming from the root chakra for you. So how can you reach a point of heightened fulfillment and accomplishing what you're supposed to within your life contract? You are in a 5-year significant period. You're in the first year of a 5-year significant period of growth and leveling up. How can you explore also, you know, this freer inner child, more spiritual, you know, creative, even sexual, you know, aspect of yourself during this change, because it can make you feel a little bit lost. It can make you feel like, what the hell is going on? Or what direction am I going in? Or like, what is this? You know, it's not something to fear. It's something to celebrate. And it can take a little while. Okay. So they're going to be working with you on that. Gabby, on YouTube. Okay, Gabby, Gabi on YouTube. Gabby, what do we have for Gabby? Work change, work and money change. So you may have had a dream recently. If it happens now, it's not going to count because I said it. But you know, you may have had a dream recently where your teeth were moving or falling out or shifting in any way. So whenever we see change with the teeth, we are talking about change in the money, change in the resources, typically though through a work experience. And it can often be a level up or successful, even if you didn't want it, even if you didn't ask for it, even if you weren't expecting it, it still can be. And there is not necessarily all of it happening at once for you, but more like a prepping, you know, a prepping of it here for a while. I also think that the other thing going on with you is don't bite off more than you can chew at this time. So that's a double symbol. You know, you could be kind of biting the bullet. You know, you could be deciding that even though you may feel like your schedule is out of control, it's like, well, I can't look at that. Well, I can't change anything. Well, this isn't a good time to make adjustments. It is not only, okay, never a good time typically to make adjustments to the schedule and reduce your availability. Nobody in the world wants you to do that because everyone's profiting off of you. Okay. So you have to claim it. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to take responsibility. You have to prioritize yourself. And then, we can see, I want to say, more of this feeling of being in a position of empowerment, but being seen as a power player also. So being seen, being heard. This is an opportunity for you to stop just going with the flow and making excuses for things that are out of working order, and to, especially in regards to your career and resources, get the upper hand on what you want that to look like and your day-to-day lifestyle, your schedule, all of it. And you may also be looking at a bit of a leveling up in regards to like a certification. I'm not saying you have to go back to school or anything like that, but if you were looking at advancing, especially in the healing arts or anything in like business or management, it could be time for a little more research, certification, education. That can help a lot. Miami Heat 305-ish. Miami Heat 305-ish. Thank you for the super sticker, Miami Heat. And hello, Lucy, member for 10 months. Okay. So Miami Heat 305-ish. What message do I have for you? I hear a piano playing and I see some ancestors coming towards you. You may have, a significant amount of tribal blood also, where, your deceased loved ones, your ancestors that come through for you, may often come through either in artistic ways. Like I said, I hear the piano, I hear the music, I can hear, also what seems like flutes and drums, like them coming to you through music. This particular ancestor, native, but is trying to make you see what makes you dance and who you are and what you have to say. So it's almost like pulling songs out of your throat. Okay, this can be symbolic of channeling as well. Pulling songs out of your throat, pulling words out of your throat. If you have been trying to allow yourself, and this will be going on for another 3 months, if you've been trying to allow yourself to just speak your truth, maybe offering leadership or healing to other people without manipulating it, needing it to be a very specific way, or needing it to be, right, like getting rid of that black or white thinking, getting ego, which is fear, manipulation, and control, out of the way, being in the flow, being fluid, just going with it. Whatever comes out, comes out. I don't know. Will it land? I don't care. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. This is going to help you a lot. You have to be willing, of course, because you can block it, but it is a gift. I also see with the other, this is a taller, I want to say maybe darker, bigger nose, native guy coming through here. He's got some feathers hanging on his head, both sides, 2 over here, 1 over here. And I feel like he's giving you a feather and putting it on the right side, which is leadership. So you are entering into a position of leadership, or you just did. You, I think, noticed it, but I don't know that you celebrated it. It's like, well, whatever, if you don't celebrate, this is cute because he's got like champagne, like let's pop the champagne, and 2 champagne. You're like, well, let's all have some champagne. Like, if you don't celebrate your wins, who will? Seriously? Okay. And you may have just gotten like a promotion with work, something too, because when you leveled up in this way, I have to fix TikTok. It hit all areas for you. Ow. So don't doubt yourself as well. Okay. Because at the same time you level up, self-doubt creeps in. Let's see if I can fix TikTok. Okay, I think I did. Sorry guys, it gives me this puzzle I have to do, or it'll like disconnect me. All right, Lucy is next. Cat. I'm just wondering what she's up to. Like I said, she's high as a kite right now. If you guys have not already done so, and I forgot to ask, so If everyone could at this time, give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment of any kind. It really helps me out in the algorithm. If everyone could drop a heart, like that would be great. Even I would also love to hear where you are tuning in from. Yeah, and please do subscribe. Share this video also, helps me out. All right, let's move on to Lucy. All right, Lucy, what do I have going on for you? I have a headache, actually. And I have a headache peeling off, almost like a fruit roll-up, you know, just being like removed from you. So even the last couple of days, you've been feeling like better, less stressed, like a cloud was lifted from like behind your eyes or on top of your head. Like this energy is like moving, it's moving away. I love this idea of it being like removed from you right around this time, almost like a fruit roll-up, right? Because it's like this sweet treat. It's like this kind of cool looking thing, actually, because it's like, I don't know if you remember the fruit roll-up. I don't know if they still make them, but like they're tie-dyed, you know, almost. And I think this means a couple different things for you. I think you could be working more with color therapy. I think you could be working more with even like meditational imagery, you know, to assist yourself with calming down, regulating your nervous system. You know, I also heard stay hydrated. Okay, so simple things as well. But you're entering into now a period of time where you're going to be seen and you're going to be heard for the energy you bring in. And it doesn't matter if you are having a bad day with a headache, or if you are filled with heavy clouds in your brain, blurring your vision, and you got the fruit roll up on your head just waiting to kind of work, or if you come to the group and you are feeling sharp, you know, and you're bringing your A game and you are just a fluid entity, you know, it doesn't matter. It's like, it doesn't matter at all. I think that what you don't understand about yourself is that you give off sort of a very high vibe all the time. And you need to start recognizing that when you are feeling less than what you want to, it's not necessarily a great thing for you to do going forward, to hide away. You know, going forward, try to get out there or stay out there or put yourself in new situations where you would have normally rejected it, because you're not like bringing your A game, you know, it doesn't matter. Put your war paint on and just go, just be you. This higher vibration that you have is something that's being sought. So I heard by the universe as we go forward. And then of course how is that going to break down in your life? By these people, by this group. Okay. This could also be people who want to hire you, get you on their team, partnership opportunities. And this is coming, okay, within the next few months. But I want to say really within even the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to see an increase. Don't hold yourself back. Beatrice, what am I getting for you? There's an image here of you digging out like carrots, and it looks like maybe this is a zucchini or a cucumber or something. You know, I feel like picking strawberries, onions. I mean, there's this image of you pulling some vegetables out of the ground and being a little bit, I don't want to say disappointed with the size, but like, I don't know. It's like you're looking at this carrot and you're like, huh, it's really bright. It's a bright color. I can't believe I grew this. It's like, look at this. I can eat this. I mean, this is really happening. You know, it's like you're looking at it and then you're kind of looking at it for a little too long. And you're like, it's not very big. Look, here's the bottom line. We can do this with anything, you know. Don't overthink things. A harvest is a harvest is a harvest. Okay. A carrot is a carrot. Okay. It is. A rabbit would be happy to have that. You know, it is about understanding that sometimes the size, the amount, you know, of what we get is directly in balance with our ability to feed it with positivity. And the fact that it's showing up at all, that you have these, you know, fruits and vegetables, the fact that it's coming up at all is a really good sign. And all you really need to be doing, I want to say in life in general right now, is focusing. And I mean focus. I mean master this. Okay? Because you can enter into mastery level with this. And most people don't get it in their 60s and 70s and 80s. Can you create more abundance, manifest more, okay? Stay in that law of attraction, increase based on your ability to show an attitude of gratitude and to stay in that energy longer. You know, feed it, feed it, feed it, instead of getting critical and having black or white thinking, kind of minimizing even your accomplishments or what you have, you know, because you want it to be bigger. You want to be bigger. You want more. Want more. That's fine. Want more. But don't want more so much that you don't see what you've already created or what has been given to you. Because that is one way to dig down in the dirt here next time and pull up nothing but rocks, you know. We are going to move on to Deb B. Deb B, what do I have for you? I have you dancing a little bit. It's like dancing feet, nothing fancy in your kitchen. I don't know, in your nightie and your, you know, getting your coffee. It's nothing formal, but it is this sort of lighthearted, you know, bounce in your step that within the last few months you've been feeling a bit more of. So if you're feeling a little lighter, if you're feeling a little bit like the world around me is burning down, but somehow today I feel okay, you know, or you're having more of those like really good, just sort of peaceful, simple simplicity, you know, of enjoy moments, the sun shining on your face a little bit. This is a sign that you are entering into a new phase and you have lightened your load. So we don't just want to say, well, I got lucky, you know, that I feel okay today, that I'm kind of, you know, feeling a little like pep in my step here. Like, I don't know why that happened. How random, you know, interesting. No. It's bigger than that. This is about identifying what wasn't serving you, who wasn't assisting in your growth, who was stealing your faith from you, and how you were and need to hold yourself accountable, you know, for the fact that you were kind of selling yourself out, selling yourself short at the very least in life. This is behind you now. Okay. So every time you drop something that is below you, you're going to have more of this ability to sort of dance, okay, through your day. There is talk here from a maternal energy, mom side of the family, who says that there's also some heaviness from the past, the family loss. This could also be childhood that you need to let go of. And if someone really disappointed you or was even, I want to say maybe abusive, neglectful, not necessarily from the things I just mentioned, but even like a romantic partner, there's some letting go that needs to also happen during this time to keep that dancing going, okay, to increase it a little bit more. And she is helping with that. Janet with one N. Doesn't Janet always have one N? I don't know why I said that. Well, no, because it has two T's. I think it normally is one T. Whatever. Talk about overthinking things. Okay, Janet, J-A-N-E-T-T, G. Okay, Janet G. Janet G, what do I have for you? Yeah, it's funny. You know, you seem to have money coming in, and I'm seeing it in cash, like dollar bills, like even stacks at different times. But it's almost like you can't have it, or it isn't yours, or for as much as you make, there's even more going out. Or an even Steven situation. Hi, Ozzy. So, you know, you could be finding yourself in a position, because this is coming slightly to the right, which is the future. I want to say even in the next like month and a half to 2 months, you could find yourself in a position of like greater leadership, power, telling people, you know, what to do, telling things where to go, Esmeralda Marie Rivera, everyone. Say hi, Ezzy. Oh, you got a little one. She stepped on the screen 3 times last time, so I'm not really in the mood, but she's been lonely. So, I think that what happens here is that you are, in fact, moving up. At the same time, you may not feel it that way. Like you aren't receiving all the benefits that you hope to receive. And it seems like you keep treading along, almost saying like, well, it'll work out. Well, it'll work out. Well, it'll work out. And it's like, when was the last time you did a full-on eval on everything? And you said, look, this isn't working. It's not leveling up. I'm putting out this much energy and I'm still, in the hole. This isn't working. It's almost like you don't want to face it. You don't want to address it. And I think this will be an opportunity. We're seeing another increase, yet we're seeing everything go right back out, until it's almost deficit. And I think you're going to have to look at this. Hopefully you kind of caught on that this is symbolic of like money. This is symbolic of like career. This is symbolic of like your life and responsibilities, but also just your general energy level. This is about your happiness. This is about whether or not you're well rested. You feel balanced in your, health and everything. So a little bit of shifting needing to happen here. I don't think it'll take much, but there is some tweaking. And you may also just kind of go off the rails, but I don't think it's a bad thing. Even though Spirit's saying it that way, it may seem that way, right? Or people may say that about you, but you could just toss everything. You'd be like, I'm leaving, I'm moving, I'm shutting this down, I'm out of here. Pack up your car and be gone. I mean, I could see you doing that too. So if you make some extreme moves, that will also be okay, whether it's fully necessary or not. All right, Jessica G. Jessica G, what do I have for you? Oh, wow. All right. We've got the moon. We've got relationship coming up. We got a couple other things coming up over here. We've got a sun. We've got a rainbow. And we have loyalty. You may be looking at loyalty right now at the base, at the root. Skeletons in the closet, unfinished business, stuff swept under the carpet, things put up on a shelf collecting dust, conversations that haven't been had or conversations that haven't been complete. We have the dog of loyalty coming up, okay, in the basement at the root. So right now, everything that's going on in your life is an examination of whether or not situations and people and even your resources are being loyal to you, okay? And are you being loyal to yourself? So self-checking, a lot of it going on, and a lot of spirits on the other side who keep an eye on you, making sure that they keep putting you in positions where you have to look at that. You have to ask that question. So if you've been feeling like, why does this stupid thing keep happening over and over and over again? Or why can't I get out of this cycle? Or how long is it going to take for me to level up? This is why, okay? This is why. It's an opportunity every time you feel stuck to figure out where the loyalty lies. And if it isn't enough, it's out of balance, you have to fix it, okay? It's your responsibility to fix that always. So we don't want to wait and hope and ask and request other people or the situations we're involved in, to fix it. We tell them it needs to get fixed, or we walk. That's how you get it done. Now, you could also be dealing with some moon energy. I saw the moon come out and I saw a relationship right underneath it. So you could be dealing with someone where you feel like there is a hidden, not necessarily an agenda, but like a hidden lifestyle, or this person isn't really sharing their feelings with you. If someone isn't sharing their emotions with you really ever, it does make you wonder what else they're unwilling to share. And we can't always use the excuse with people like, well, people don't like share feelings, or they're not good at it, or like, this is America. No. That is a choice. It's peculiar. It is a sign of something more going on, and you know it, so if you're feeling a lot of that kind of moon energy, that hidden things, you know, in the dark confusion in regards to a relationship that is deliberate, and it will be coming out into the light soon, you know. And that's just another area where when you deal with people, you need to say what you need. You need to, and if that means you say specifically, you know, where are you? Share with me. You know, I need that. Then say that. It's not a game, and we don't wait, okay, and hope that people will come around or situations will change. You deserve that loyalty. You give it, you deserve to get it back, but you have to claim it. Okay. Okay, so we are going to do last call. Is there anything else coming in? So again, last call, if you want to drop your payment now, this is going to be it for this show. Now, next week, I will be back with, I believe it's Ask Ivy, where I take one of your questions on any topic under the sun, and I answer it and deliver out messages from spirit. If you need a reading with me in the meantime, though, I do work internationally. So most of what I do is phone readings. And if you are in a time zone like India, for example, where it's really not kind of working out with my availability, but I have a ton of availability till like 3 a.m. Eastern time even. But if it isn't working out, you can get a video reading. Okay, so you can go to Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com for that. And I just want to make sure before I log off of here, are we officially at time, or do we have anything else coming in? Also, can we give a hand to Angelica? I think she did an amazing job. This was her first show producing on her own. Thank you, Angelica. Okay, so I'm going to assume, Angelica, if I don't hear anything else from you in the comment section, that we are good and we are at time. Also, for those of you who want to get an in-person reading with me here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy or at one of my vending events. I am moving into my in-season, the spooky season, so I will be out and about all over the Western New York area, so you guys can pre-book, or you can try your hand at a walk-in, but get onto my website and look on my events page for all the places that I will be. Okay, we are at time. Thanks so much, everyone. Also, if you want to just get a spirit message for yourself, but you want to do it privately, or you want to gift it to someone else, you can go onto my website and click on Spirit Message, and you will get that in 5 to 7 business days. Thank you, Spirit. Thanks, everyone. Great job, Angelica. Have a good night.